Hey everyone. Hi everyone. How's everyone doing? Um, we're gonna talk about some more stuff, some more martial arts, obviously. I had a bit of a blood sugar plummet, so I apologize if you see me sitting here like snacking. Sometimes my blood sugar will just like, even though I eat all this stuff. So let's let's talk more martial arts. Like I said, you guys can ask me anything about the many years I spent teaching, owning a school. Um, you can ask me about martial arts. You can ask me how to do something. Um, yeah, I am here for you guys to pick my brain about martial arts. Um, Man, yeah, sorry about the snacking right away. It just I was about ready to start the video, and we don't have much battery, so I needed to do that. But that's all right. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Like I said, you guys can ask me anything, but I also have. All right. So we'll do a little bit of training and stuff like that. In between waiting for either questions or um, just like conversation. And like I said, my blood sugar took a plummet right before the video, so I apologize if I snack a little bit. I absolutely have to. But like I said, we only had like half battery, so I didn't want to like not do the video. But anyway, we can talk about these are all right. So I did train with real ones, but these are foam. Now these are weighted properly so that way you can train with them. But they are foam, in case you're wondering. But I did train with proper nunchucks, nunchuck wands, whatever you prefer to call them. Nunchaku. I trained with actual ones. So I actually had really enormous ones with Bruce Lee on. They were wooden. But anyway, I don't have those anymore, unfortunately. And also, we just want to use foam ones for the video. But anyway, there's a couple things we can do. We can show you guys with this stuff like this. It is meant to be done as doubles. Normally you would have two of these and you'd want to do them as doubles, but I mean we can just make do. The idea that we are gonna sit here and talk about this for very long is not going to happen. But basically I just want to show you guys that Chinese martial arts does use these weapons. Regardless of whether you see it or not, it does happen. So just some basic stuff. A lot of times it's just a slash down, slash back. You can slash straight down, come straight back, and then that's how you switch. But the idea is to get really fast, really coordinated with these. You would normally do it with doubles. I don't know where my other one is. Yes, I do have two of these, but I only found the one. You would do these with double. I'm trying to think of where it would be, because it is kind of annoying that I can't show you. But yeah, normally you'd do the doubles. But anyway, that's one you want to practice. Okay, you want to get good at. That's really slow. Okay, that's really slow. But you want to get good at essentially whipping that back. So what I'm doing there is from the chamber, it's out, back, down. Out, okay? Out, back, down. So the way you're holding this is you want it, a lot of times you want it about here when you're hitting. Okay, about there. And then when you're swinging, you're spinning fast, you'll start sliding up a little bit to about there. So that way you can use the tip for more control. Okay. You can learn to go around the hand, okay? You want to learn to go around the hand. All right, the idea is to be able to switch to underhand if you need to. It's not something you really need to do. It's just a lot of it's just to help you, essentially do that, learn that. Okay. So anyway, what's up, Luis? Luis Hernandez! Luis Hernandez! What's up? You got an announcement, dude. Luis Hernandez! What's up? Luis Hernandez. In the chat. What's up, man? What's up? So the idea is that you wanna grab it from behind. Out, back, down, okay? If you don't have to grab it each time. If you notice, sometimes I come back and just kind of let it go. That's because sometimes I'll just come straight down, okay? And then you can sort of go for a block there. All right. But the idea is that it's going to come out, back, down. And sometimes you won't chamber it. Sometimes you'll come down and you'll whack. And because it's hitting a target, it'll stop it and you won't need to, and you'll have to kind of, a lot of things that I see people doing wrong is essentially placement. I see people holding it way down here. It's not where you hold it. You hold it just above the middle. Yeah, really get maximizing the spins. The closer you get to that chain, obviously, the faster it's going to go. One thing that you can do too is you can sort of toss up quick and throw out. So like that's a quick toss back and jab out. So like that's the idea, so that you can do that quick. All right. You really want your wrist to snap with this. You don't want to be afraid. If you have a real one and you're practicing this, you will hurt yourself. Keep in mind, there's a certain amount of body conditioning involved with certain weapons and stuff like that. So accept that some martial arts training is going to have that built into it too. You're whacking yourself with this thing, you know. But also you're going to accidentally screw up. And you know, if I could count the number of times I hit myself in the back of the head with the 3-sectional staff, grabbing the two ends, not remembering the other one's coming around, whack. Okay, same thing. This one, I remember a time I was spinning this really fast, and I went to go back, and did you see how it even came up then? I learned real quick to keep that elbow up, because I remember I came back the one time and left my elbow down, and it went smack, and I went, I had to like run in the back and like let it out, because like my arm was like numb and tingling. This it's serious stuff, man. It's serious stuff. It gets spinning pretty fast. Pretty fast. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. A lot of you can also sort of, if you want, you can try to spin it low, so that way you have more control. It's actually a drill to spin it sort of low like this out in front of you, kind of like that. But you want to, the idea is that to be able to, from awkward angles, be able to spin that back, you know, to your hand if you need to, essentially. What I'll do sometimes is I'll wrap it, and then I'll just kind of boom. You see how I have that there? Staff. Because this is a pull cue. This is a broom handle. This is a shovel at Home Depot. A staff, very basic. A lot of times with your staff strikes, your hits, when you're coming across like this, and your stabs and stuff like that, it's literally the same thing as you know, when you're just doing the punch. You know, it's just an extension of your own arm. So the staff is what I recommend for beginners, because a lot of the stances, the footwork's the same. Hand placement, it teaches you when you move one hand, you must move the other, essentially. See how my hands move? They have to move together. And then also, you're going to learn a bit of the spinning, too. Okay? So you're going to learn a bit of that. Let's see. Any other questions? Feel free to ask. When you pick up your staff, you're going to roll it up onto your foot right like that. You should practice doing that a lot. Okay? Just practice doing it. You should essentially get to a point where you can stop it right there, so that way if something happens, you can kick it up at them. Does that make sense? You just want control over it. You want it to look easy. You want it to be easy. So you can also work on the spin in front. That's pretty simple. All you got to do is one hand under, one hand over. I'm sorry. Yeah, one hand under, one hand over, push. Roll, push, roll, push, roll. That's all I'm doing. I'm just rolling. And then eventually you get to the point where you start learning how to pushing over to the other hand. So what you want to do for that is learn how to roll with one hand. I'm trying to slow it down for you guys. Okay. Learn how to roll with one hand. And just push it over. Yeah, cool. Ah, man. That really just landed on top and stayed there. I should do the flip cup challenge thing. No lie, I just threw it up in the air. Staff. Okay, so in Kung Fu, when we spin it up overhead, we're gonna go ahead and spin it like this. You're gonna balance it on your hand. Essentially, you should be able to stop it. You should be able to balance it so well you can stop it. My hands are pretty sweaty, so I'm gonna have to probably go fast. There you go. Okay, you spin it on top of your hand. If you notice, my hand is flat there. I'm not spinning it with my fingers or anything. That's what you want to do. Okay. All right. You can add some flair to this stuff. Doesn't really matter. A lot of this is for you to learn control, like staff control essentially. So like if I like you just saw, if I lose control of this, I can roll it back and quickly grab it with my other hand. Because you will. It's not perfect. Nothing ever will be. That's the point. Like you're gonna drop your staff. Oh man, I dropped my staff. No, I didn't. There are times where like even I accidentally sort of like I might be doing like a fast movement or something, and then like maybe I accidentally let go of it. Oops. And I just sort of bring it back to my own arm again, because you know that's the point, is to do all this awkward weird stuff. You know, some people are like, oh, I don't get what he's doing there. What's the purpose of all that? The purpose is somebody grabs it. Or if you lose control of it, you can grab it again. You spin it around your neck and you keep it moving. Okay? That's the purpose of it. Just because, you know, it doesn't seem obvious doesn't mean it doesn't have a purpose. A cool couple of moves to start off with staff. Like I said, you have the basic strike, right like that. Another cool one is if they go to just like let's say I have a sword or something like that, and you have a staff, and you're like, what the heck am I gonna do? Yeah, what the heck? This is a piece of wood, and they have a sword. Okay, so what am I gonna do? A cool one you can do is when those slashes come in, what you can do is it isn't. There's two things I'm going to show you here. It's not easy. The one of them's easy and one of them's not. So here we go. So if they have a sword, let's say they have a sword, and if only I had I can't bring these swords out. I could get a foam one, I guess. But if I had a sword and I'm slashing, right? That foam one I had, and let's say I'm slashing, okay? Someone's coming at me and they're slashing, okay? One thing that's really cool with the staff, it's really, really simple that you can do, and someone's coming straight at you, you can literally just come straight up over top. And literally, like, they're charging at you. What you're gonna do is avoid that text, come straight up over top, and slam right down on their head. So essentially, they're coming at. Okay. That one's not, I guess, as easy. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's easy for me. A really fun one to do if you guys want to practice staff. A really fun thing to do with staff is to try to do shoulder rolls. So if you're doing a shoulder roll, do you remember from earlier? Okay. Well, we did this. Okay. Shoulder roll. All right. Just right like this. All right. So with a staff, what you're gonna do is put this in front of you, right like this. Roll straight up over top. Okay? Just roll right up over top of that. All right? That's a fun one too. So, around, up over the head, behind the back, bam, right like that. So again, around, slide, trying to stay on the frame. I know if I'm gonna do it, I know, like, as soon as I do it real quick, I'm gonna go right off the frame. Yeah. Staff, yeah. That's all you guys are getting. That's some tiger. A little bit of tiger for you. Hopefully you saw it. Did you see it? Tiger does rule. Tiger rules. There you go. Tiger claw. Just imagine that in your face. Just imagine. Tiger claw. It's getting dark. It's getting dark. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Birds are still going though. Let me fix myself. some of these animals, well, turn you sort of into an animal, don't they? So basically, if you can do it slow, like obviously with more momentum, I'll just do it. Okay. But if you can do it slow, that's the idea. To really pay attention to your movements, make sure there's no wasted movement. It is really hard to do that slow because you have to bring that other shoulder around. So you have to really Yes. Yes, sir. Nice and slow. See? See that? There we go. There we go. Now I know what I was doing there. Just gotta slow it down. Yes, sir. Backyard, sure. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man. Any more questions, guys? I was an instructor by the time I was a teenager, and I was a black sash by the time I was about 23. I owned the school in my early 20s. Actually, I was 21, I think. Yeah, I was 21. I owned the school in my early 20s. And yeah, just continued to teach a bit after that too. But I mean, many years, uh, many hours doing martial arts and uh, full contact sparring, grappling, uh, tai chi, weapons, animals, um, pressure points, conditioning, um, history, learning history and stuff too. It is important. Um, it's pretty much everything you think of. Learning how things used to be compared to my own training styles, and then trying to do sort of as close to that as I can while being safe, if that makes sense. You know, like old school training methods, by today's standards, would be incredibly dangerous, death-defying probably for a lot of people. So, but you know, like how the idea is how could I get as close to that as possible, but you know, by a modern standard. um, yeah, there's lots of experience. So yeah, you know, anybody wants to ask anything. That was a good question about weapon, like what weapon do I recommend starting out with. I also recommend also what suits your style too. So like let's say you're a grappler. Yeah, let's say you're a grappler. Well, I mean, if you're a grappler and you're a smaller guy, I mean, I still might say staff at some point to teach you that stuff, but I mean, honestly, these are pretty good, you know, to learn as a way to essentially, you know, help you learn coordination with hands and stuff, because that's what you're going to use. Those are your tools. You know, the idea that the idea that everybody is going to master every facet of martial arts, you know, that's the point, is like, well, master, you know. You know, well, you know, like while many are considered masters and stuff like that, the point is that you're still going to have some areas that you're obviously better at, more natural at, and gravitate towards. So the idea that, you know, that I'd recommend a weapon to somebody as a beginner, that's where I'd say, well, where are your strengths starting out, essentially, you know, like back that up. You know, and so for me, you know, because I was tall and stuff like that, it wouldn't make sense for me to learn something like this, because like I wasn't as good with my hands when I started off. Does that make sense? I was more like a kicker. You like now, obviously, like I'm fine and stuff like that with that stuff. But like when I first started off, you know, like I was more of a kicker. You know, so then understanding distance and how distance and stuff works with the hands and positioning and stuff like that, and footwork is good for somebody that's tall and as a kicker and stuff like that. Probably a staff. 5'6". You said about 5'6". Yeah, I mean, that does factor into it. You know, if there's one thing I always told my students is like, I am not going to show a technique the same to somebody that's 5'6" that I would to somebody that's 6'4". It's not going to look the same. You are going to do the technique differently, because most people are either taller or shorter than you. Why would I show you the technique the same? It wouldn't work. Literally wouldn't work. So to me, if you're an instructor that doesn't know how to do that with your techniques or your training, you're missing huge chunks of how to teach. And so that was something I always did too. My instructor did for me, so I learned how to do easily from him. You know, that's the point, is like, I mean, we could even break it down now. I'll show you an example. so essentially, let's say we're talking about that technique we did in the stream earlier, where we're down here and we're gonna grab the heel and push the hip. Trust me, it works. As long as you do it right. However, would I suggest you doing this that way? Probably not necessarily. Maybe. Your arms are going to be shorter, right? And they're probably taller than you, right? Yeah, so why would I show you how to do it that way? Yeah, I'm going to show you a grappling method. Remember how I did it? Okay, so you just cup the heel and use the shoulder. You can put your elbow in there. That's okay, you can put the elbow in there instead. But I'm not going to expect you to reach and push your hand forward and reach it. Like, yeah, I'll show it to you and be like, this is how I do it, but I want you to do it this way and practice it this way. Or I'll explain to you that this is basically the same technique. You know, like behind the legs, hook, push. Explain that to you. That basically, like, in essence, there's other techniques that are going to go in place of this one that you'll probably use. But also, while explaining that technique seems weird, doesn't it? That's the point. It's supposed to. Why would you do something like that? You wouldn't do that. Well, yes, you would. What if you're on the ground and they throw a kick at you? Or you're on the ground and they're in front of you? So, that's what I usually explain that gets them going, oh, okay. Suddenly makes sense. Yeah, their foot's forward, you're on the ground coming up from a grappling position. Yeah, you could do it. You could do it. I would still want to show you the grappling method if you're that shorter guy, though, where I'm like, hey, you might like this. Here you go. This might be what you like to do with this technique eventually. Because I'm the instructor and I'm going to probably know eventually. You know, I've taught these guys before. I know what they like. You know, and that's the point. You know, and then maybe from that you'll be like, well, I didn't do it that way, but because you showed me that, I'm doing it this way now. You know, maybe like, oh, and then I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea. You know. So that's just one example. But yeah, like that's the problem is like a lot of times these techniques, guys will think too much about them being one-dimensional. You know, whereas, oh, well, you couldn't do that. If I threw a punch at you, well, who's to say it's coming? What every technique's from a punch? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Techniques, you have a really bad repertoire if all your techniques are off of a punch. No, you know, when I had students that were higher in rank and learning animals and stuff, I would often have them doing their techniques that they normally would do, you know, off of either a grab or a punch or something like that, off of a kick, off of if somebody ran at them, and off of, you know, this or that. And, you know, like essentially they're doing every technique, like, off of like 3 different things, and the idea is to modify and to learn to do that and learn when you are changing the technique too much, when it's no longer that technique anymore, and when it is. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, essentially, to help you with that. So like just like as I was explaining with those punches, that's why I think it's funny, like a lot of people punch like this, because like you almost never, like unless you're going out to the side like this, like where your body is actually angled like that. It's just such a terrible angle. You see it coming a mile away. So that's why, like earlier, I was explaining when it was conveniently cutting out in the clip. I was explaining about how when you twist your body, you can avoid a punch like that across simply by like looking at it and timing it, uh, ducking straight underneath and then doing the twist, bam, so that the punch goes straight up over top. So the idea is you duck, punch goes right up over top, and then you just twist. Or you actually block the punch. You sort of take it in the you just hook, sort of take it in the shoulder, and you twist and pull it. Or like there's so many different things. You can literally block with the other hand. Punch comes this way. You can block with this hand and twist this way. Or you can be really good and time it really well. And as soon as you see that punch come out, just get yours out first. I have done this so many times to people that thought they were fast. Like, oftentimes I'll hide my speed, and I'll spar somebody, and then like, if I know that I'm faster, then I'll just end up using that. So I'll hide my speed, hide my speed, hide my speed, and then all of a sudden I'll show it to them, full force, all at once, and they just yeah. And it's stuff like that where it's like, basically you time things wrong, but then you still block it or something like that, and then you know, like essentially you just do one timed strike faster. You wait for it. That's fun stuff. I like it when I'm sparring somebody that thinks they're gonna kick me because I'm a kicker, and then I'll just start kicking. I'll just start like kicking their legs, or using hammers on their legs, and they don't want to kick anymore. So anyway, guys, any questions? It's probably getting soon time. It is probably getting soon to end it. I see only one like. I appreciate that one like, though. I appreciate that one like. I do. Thank you so much. But I appreciate the views, everybody, for stopping in. And man, Hernandez, stopping in. Yeah, the famous Luis Hernandez. You're the one and only. It's awesome, man. Thanks for stopping in, seriously. Yikes. Oh well, it happens. Well, you hang out in all these chats that are world class, so, you know, you're gonna be famous when you do that, right? Okay, I'll stop. I really do appreciate you coming through, though, and thank you everybody else too that was here. Does anybody have any other questions for me? I mean, there is still some daylight left, obviously. Wow. Well, if nobody has any other questions, then it's probably getting time to end. What's my diet? Well, lately it's been whatever I want or whatever I can eat. If you want to know, like, when I was like in shape and stuff, like when I was like, so like typically what I was doing to get like, you mean like to get bigger? What I would do, what I used to do is, okay, so natural testosterone, but natural. Um, do the over the counter stuff. Like it's like one pill or something, like it's like over the counter. You can get it at GNC. I used to get mine, order mine, but I used to also get it from GNC. I think it's like mostly like horny goat's weed or something. It's something like that. It's like some over the counter thing. Um, so I forget exactly what the combination is in there, but I would recommend that. And then while using that, um, just make sure you're active and then taking in lots of protein. I used to eat lots of beef stew. I would make myself a beef pot roast and just like, like from scratch, and then just eat that throughout the week. Lots of that. And the testosterone. This is I feel bad that I can't think of his name. Um, Alan Richson, isn't that his name? Alan Richson, the guy that plays Jack Reacher on the show. Even he's like basically an advocate for the natural testosterone these days too. Basically saying, that's what helped him to get big too, and he's a huge advocate. I was really happy that he started talking about that too, because when I try to tell people about it, they sort of have a certain opinion of it. They think, like, of course what they think, but it's like, you get this stuff at GNC. It's literally over the counter stuff. And being a martial arts instructor, I looked heavily into it, making sure it was like natural stuff that I was taking, and not chemicals and stuff. And sure enough, it was. It was just literally the stuff that actually causes the brain to release natural testosterone. It's not a testosterone in itself. It is what you take in to cause the brain to release the testosterone within you, essentially. And man, whew, it did work. It worked great. So it helps you get big, but just just be cautious with it. Don't go crazy with it, and make sure you work out a lot while taking it. Drink plenty of water and lots of protein. Before my workouts, I would either do a whole rotisserie chicken, or just like a whole bunch of like beef jerky and like some cheese. Yep, that's what's in. I think that's what's in it. I really do think that's what's in it. I really do. It sticks in my mind. It's that one. But you know what I mean. Like there's a whole bunch of those really weird, over the counter natural stuff, and it's just like the pill. You can tell it's jam packed full of like the most concentrated amount of this ground up powdered stuff. So they just jam packed as much of that in there probably as they could, and just take that in a pill essentially. And I think that's what's doing it. That's how it works, I think. And I also consulted a student of mine a long time ago that worked at GNC. He was a real big guy, and he knew I didn't want anything not natural. I consulted him about it too, and he also confirmed. There's somebody I knew also confirmed. So that went far with me too, and he was a student of mine. Yeah, no problem, of course. Just realize, like, if you have extra weight, like fat and stuff, depending on where it is and where you hold it, will depend on your workout too. So like, a lot of times, people think they can just work out. With me, with martial arts, I have a decent. I do yoga and stuff like that to correct my spine. But if you don't, and you start like working out and lifting and stuff, you might actually start like kind of messing it up a bit. Start, like, I guess, doing yoga and stuff like that too. That, I know, cause crazy it sounds, but like, a lot of times that helps. A really good one you can do. A really good one you can do before a workout is if you go back onto your knees, kind of like this. You don't have to let you can just sit like this, but you're gonna put your hands out in front of you like this, or like this, but like about shoulder, and then you're gonna rock your knees back, and then you're just gonna pull. Just let your hands just kind of drag on the ground, and then put your head down, and then you'll feel the center back kind of pop. And you're just gonna sit there like that for a while. Just sit there like that for a while. You'll feel it. That's a decent one to do before a workout. And then after that, come up onto all fours and then like arch your back a couple times. And then sit back. That'll just, cause like it's always the middle, right? That'll just it's kind of like when you were younger and you used to do the thing where you turn and you crack your back. Yeah, the thing I still do that I shouldn't. There is a way to do it with a stretch, obviously, but it does that, but the correct way. Um, 210. You're 210 and 5'6". I'd recommend fruit. Just start your day with fruit or veggies. And then, eat normally. Eat normally throughout the day, but you really have to cut your breakfast down. I'd recommend that. It sounds like you're a lot of carbs at breakfast time or something like that. Your body just soaks it up. So that's just my guess. And then you would need to cut that out. Basically just either fruit or veggies for breakfast. And then that's your diet. And then by lunchtime, it's the middle of the day, you're moving around, eat whatever you want. Splurge during lunchtime. Get whatever. And then get your protein right before your workout. Eat dinner. Don't eat too much. Do your workout. Then after your workout, after like an hour or two, if you feel hungry again, eat a little bit, but don't overdo it. But eat protein after. Don't try to like eat like gross food or like fried food or anything like that. But yeah, that's my recommendation. I'm not a dietitian or anything. I'm not an official dietitian or anything. I'm just giving tips for what I think would be a good idea for a well-balanced diet, and basically what I do. If you're, I know it's crazy, but we all have these issues once in a while. If you're, if the bowels aren't moving, it's time to grab some fiber. It's time to grab some fruit. It's time to grab some Cheerios. It's time to grab some granola. A lot of times we have a habit of eating lots of stuff with bread and things like that, and the body doesn't break that down so easily. Fruit is hugely beneficial to the intestinal tract. Certain veggies are avocado, and then you want to be eating fiber to get that balance back. Believe it or not, gut health will love you. Your gut health will love you if you start eating more fruit. But not all the time. Just a little bit here and there will help. Apples. You just cut up some apples. Even if you have to eat them with peanut butter. Carrots. Broccoli. Try not to eat it with cheese. Don't eat it with cheese. Just broccoli. Just steamed broccoli. Rice. White rice. Just be smart about essentially gut health and uh, all that. I'm sure you get it. It's a lot of it's about toxins in the body. That's a lot of what it is. The body holds on to toxins, so you have trouble losing the weight. That's why a lot of martial artists typically they're not that, right? Well, yeah, they're always detoxing, they're sweating all the time. That's why it's always kind of funny when I see, a guy at a karate school or something. He's just a big belly. Okay. Like, I mean, I've seen some guys with bellies that are good fighters, but like, like the guy that's like out to here, he can barely walk. It's like the people that are like, well, you wouldn't get your advice from a fat doctor, right? It's like, you got a point. You got a point, I guess. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. Is it gone? Or just remission? And I'm really sorry to hear that. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. This whole thing cut out for like no reason. Oh, you never had it before, just saying, oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'd recommend. But I mean, you know what I like? You know what I like, and a lot of other people like too that don't really like a lot of fruit? Cantaloupe. Get yourself some cantaloupe. We have really good cantaloupe around here. It's really easy to grow cantaloupe around here, but if you like cantaloupe, that's a good one. I would highly recommend that. Cantaloupe. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. See, I knew. Yeah, I've known a few people that weren't huge into fruit. Yeah, it's got to be cold. If it's too warm, it's kind of weird. For sure. You gotta cool the cantaloupe for sure. If you just fresh cut it, that's fine, I suppose. But yeah, usually better cold for sure. Nice and firm. Just like apples. Yeah, I agree. I like with apples too. That's how I feel about apples too. They're better when they're cold. For sure, crisp. Did you see my steak stream? You guys should check out my steak stream. Made a couple of perfect steaks. Oh man, can't stop thinking about it. Well, it's pretty dark. If I didn't have the filter on, it would probably you probably wouldn't even be able to see anything. To be honest with you. Oh, freaking yeah, filet mignon's my favorite. I made 2 filet mignon in a cast iron skillet on the stream. It was so good. Came out perfect. Yeah, you gotta love steak. How do you not love a nice juicy steak? Well cooked steak, right? Man, nobody came through. Nobody else came through. Just yourself. Well, I appreciate it. Everybody is. Oh, I that's right. I forgot a couple of people at the top. Top. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I see your messages now. It just meant nobody else I recognize. Yes. You know, I was gonna make so here's what happened. I was gonna make potatoes with that. But then I looked at the bag. I just got like I thought was a steam bag. So I was like, well, I don't really have time for like potatoes and stuff. We're gonna do a steak stream. And so I was just gonna do like the steam bag in the microwave, and then I got it out halfway through, done like with my steaks, to find out that the bag was not a microwave, but a microwavable bag. I had to put them in the oven. So that's why if anybody wondered about that steak stream, why I didn't make potatoes, that's that's literally why. I even had like the red seasoned. It was like the Redskins seasoned potatoes. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It got me. What is it like Bluebird or something like that? Those bags that are microwavable. I freaking love those things. But yeah, once in a while I get one. It's like, do not micro. I'm like, why couldn't I have looked at the back of this when I was at the store? It was my own fault. All right, guys. Well, it is like dark. You can't even see me, so I better get going. I do appreciate the conversation. I really appreciate you guys being in here. At this point, if I were to even answer any questions, you probably wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So, but I really appreciate it. I hope I was informative and instructive. You know, this is what you can expect. Give you guys tips, pointers. I can talk all day about martial arts, old stories, and all kinds of stuff martial arts related. Favorite movies, this or that. Favorite martial artists, and you know, whatever. But for another day, for another stream, and we will be doing this more since we have warm weather and we cleaned this floor. So thank you so much for coming through, Luis Hernandez, again. Appreciate you so much. And the other guys, thank you so much. It's good to see new faces too, obviously. Appreciate that. And feel free to subscribe. If you want to see some more awesome content, we should be back at it soon. Not necessarily tomorrow, but soon. You will. Yeah, no worries. We're gonna be making some pretty regular martial arts content. We have shorts coming out too. I did a short the other day with some Black Label Society in the background, so feel free to check that out too. Appreciate you, man. All right, take care. Take care, everybody. Take care. Appreciate you. Take care, everybody. I'll see y'all next time. You too. Be safe.